Now, remedies for defamation. Okay, so what has happened now is I am in process of defaming you, or I am going to defame you. Okay, and you find out about this. What can you do? Is there anything you can do to stop me? Yes, of course there is, guys. We've got a wonderful thing called in our law the interdict. Okay, the person who has been defamed, or has already been defamed, okay, or is about to be defamed, can apply for an interdict that stops the publication or any further publication. Okay, so if you find out, say for argument's sake, you are a film star or a minister or whoever, and you find out that the Sunday Times tomorrow is going to run a big article on you, and you've got insight on what that article is going to say, what you can do is you can apply that same Saturday night through your lawyer at the High Court for an interdict to stop the Sunday Times publishing that specific article. Okay, you can do that. So interdict is number one, remedies for defamation. But when you apply for an interdict, okay, you as the film star or the minister, whatever, you've got to show to the court certain things. That's Saturday night now. You've got to show the court what? That if the publication goes ahead, you will suffer irreparable injury or damages. Okay, in other words, what is going to be said in that specific article is going to cost your job. What is going to be said in that specific article is going to damage your reputation to such an extent that the community or the public will look down on you. You know, those type of things. Okay, so you have to prove to the court that you will suffer irreparable injury or damages, which cannot be compensated by any award or damages. In other words, even if you get paid R1 million or R2 million, it is not going to make good what is going to be said in the Sunday Times that next morning. Okay, it's not going to make good, not at all. Example, this is a real life example. Dr. Buthelezi managed to get a publisher to withdraw a book about him called The Chief with a Double Agenda after he threatened to sue the publication for defamation. Okay, so Dr. Buthelezi got an interdict against the publishers of this book, Chief, or the article Chief with a Double Agenda, okay, because he knew that that was going to cause him irreparable damage or injury, okay, which cannot be compensated monetary-wise. Okay, everybody with me? So remedies for defamation, guys, the first one that we look at is an interdict, okay. Always in the exam or on the tests, okay. In which ways can I prevent defamatory action? Number one, an interdict. Let's look at, yeah, that's not so important. Let's look at the next one, damages. Okay, so the person responsible for the defamation, that is now, who did we say that was? We said that that was either the publisher or the printer or the journalist or the proprietor, okay? That person responsible for the defamation may be ordered to pay damages or compensation. Guys, in the exam, they will either talk about compensation or damages, same thing, okay? For the wrong he or she has done to the plaintiff. And that is always 99.999% in the form of bags of money, okay? Always in the form of money. And as a compensation to the plaintiff for his or her injured feelings and the hurt to his or her dignity and reputation. Okay, so number one, we said we get an interdict. Number two, we said we can claim for damages. Okay. Number three, an apology. Okay, it has happened many times that it's happened in court, that not only in court though, that the Sunday Times or the Bild or any type of newspaper will issue an apology in their next issue about a certain remark that was made about a certain person, if that person normally threatens that they're going to sue them. So the publication of apology is not a defense to the action of defamation, but it can reduce or mitigate the amount of damages that a court will reward. So let's look at this example. Say for argument's sake, you are again a film star, okay, and there's certain defamatory remarks that was made by the Sunday Times, or let's use another newspaper, let's say the Mercury, okay. You can ask the Mercury to issue an apology, and in the next issue they issue an apology and they say, we apologize herewith this and this and this and this and this, a long nice apology, but you can still take them to court because an apology is not really a defense that the newspaper can use. Okay, it will only be used for mitigating circumstances. Now, mitigating circumstances is when the lawyer will stand up and say, yes, we are guilty, but we have apologized. So instead of giving you, the plaintiff, R1 million, the court might say, there was an apology. We're gonna mitigate the sentence. We're gonna give you 500,000 rand. Okay. So in other words, apology is not a defense, but it's there for mitigating circumstances. You want to ask a question?
Yeah, will the retraction be?
You can retract or apologize. It's not the same thing, but a retraction will not be a defense either, because it's already been said. It's already there in the open, in the public, on the World Wide Web, or wherever. So you can still sue, but if the newspaper or whoever retract it, it will be mitigating circumstances. You will not get as much money as you would have initially if they did not retract that statement. Okay, good question. Good. Now, with an apology, the court will take into consideration the following, obviously. How soon the apology was published? Was it published the next day? 2 months later? 2 weeks later? Obviously, the court is going to look favorably upon it if the apology is issued as soon as possible, maybe even in the next issue or 2 issues later. And the court is not going to look favorably upon it if the apology is issued 3 months later or 2 months later. The degree of prominence given to the apology, was it on the last page right at the bottom the apology was made? Or was the apology made on the first page in big bold letters? Okay, in other words, the degree of prominence given to the apology, right? They're going to look at that. And further, they're also going to look whether the apology showed genuine repentance. One can, when somebody is genuine when they make an apology, So that is what the court is going to look at as well.